Before we shift to Colorado, this is a slide of an area on Google Earth of an area in Nevada. Basically, I want to take this as a safety education. This is how people die. A lot of times people go to a park, whatever agency, BLM, FWS, NPS, national parks, no matter what, a lot of times there's a, they see a beautiful trailhead. It looks like a place of family fun, and this is how people die. We talked about also over experience. If someone is a lifelong, has been in the same area for the last 30 years, lifelong hikers, lifelong outdoorsmen, it doesn't matter how experienced you are. People, I think, basically, this is how people die. They don't. Some people fail to have multiple points of redundancy, navigation redundancy. Most in this high-tech age, the most popular one is basically just a popular essential is just making sure you have, no, not just, but in addition to making sure you have an offline GPS navigational map app on your phone, and also a physically separate GPS unit, verify charging cables, battery rechargers, and make sure you mark the coordinates of the trailhead where you park, your base camp. Mark those coordinates, and if your GPS, if your physical GPS handheld device has a tracking feature that can track your steps, make sure you have that enabled as well. Make sure you have a physically separate GPS unit. Make sure you know how to use that GPS unit properly, and an offline map app. People who neglect navigational safety, what happens is, where's the actual trail? So what happens is, say they depart 10 steps away from some given trail, right? They depart from some given trail thinking they're just gonna 30 seconds do their business. They're gonna do their business for 30 seconds, get right back on the trail. They don't want some youth group sneaking up on them while they're doing their business. So they're 30 pace, they're 10, not 30, but maybe 20 paces away from the trail, and this is how people die. This is why it's so important to have navigation redundancy. See, Google Earth doesn't do it justice. I've been in this same area. The moment you go off trail, I don't think you're gonna get censored for saying this. The moment you go off trail to do your business, and all you see is trees everywhere, you have no idea where's your north, where's your east, where's your west, save for the direction of the sun. That's why it's important to have navigational redundancy. And sadly, people have died that way. They literally went off the trail a few paces for their own privacy, and they perished. I think what happens is people lose their way in a tree line, and this is why we shift out of Nevada and pan it over to Colorado, back to Colorado. I think everybody, whether they're experienced outdoorsmen, experienced hunters, even if someone grew up in some particular area their whole lives, everybody should have exercised the same navigational redundancies. GPS, mark coordinates, mark your base camp, where you parked, turn on any hike tracking features on the GPS, and have a separate, have an offline GPS map app on your phone and a physically separate GPS unit. It is a mystery how someone could, it does seem a little mysterious that a highly experienced hunter, outdoorsman would vanish so near. If you take the vehicle, if you take key points, one thing about the forests are very dangerous. The moment someone enters into a tree line, depending on places, in a tree line, everything looks the same. So you could have it where, for example, in Mount Charleston, where Spring Mountain area, this is why I say visually relying upon to visualize the trail without navigational help, that's a disaster waiting to happen. So if people were to hike in the Mount Charleston area, I think it's a very dumb idea to try any trail without an offline hiking application that tracks where you've gone and a GPS. So a lot of times you have a trail, you have a little trail, someone departs 10 paces to do their business. You imagine if there's a trail somewhere, and the moment they enter a tree line, everything looks the same. You know, basically, everything looks the same. If Jim didn't have navigational aids, the only thing I can think of is if he's in a clearing and he knows where this, if he knows that going east is going to take him to civilization, he would know not to go further west or southwest. But I think he has to be within 0.5 mile radius or a 1 mile radius of the last point. I think it's going to be very close by, very close by. Our prior searches, none of this, none of this, none of this, none of this. No marker, no marker 8, no marker 7, none of this, none of that. It's gonna have to be. It's gonna be real close by. It's gonna have to be very close by to the key points.